This is the apron stock for the joint stool I'm making right now. And I've just cut a small molding on the bottom edge of the apron. I carved it earlier. We'll look at the carving another time. Right now I just want to show you how I do that molded edge with a scraper, the scratch stock. So this one is a homemade tool and a little pistol grip stock of white oak in this case, with a saw kerf down the length of it, a scraper blade filed to the profile I want, and fixed in there with just pinching that saw kerf shut with a screw. And if there's a little slop in it, you can take it up with a wedge. Sometimes just a shaving, other times that's an actual wedge. So I touch up the profile with files. Really, I don't stone it and get carried away sharpening it. It's not really going to remove a lot of metal. And I'll show you how I used it to make this molded edge here. Maybe you can see that, how that sits there, right there. And so you run it almost like a marking gauge, but it's got a scraper in it instead of a pin. On this block of wood, on this strip of wood, I have two aprons, one of the long straight aprons and one of the short angled aprons for the end of the stool. And I have previously used a mortise gauge and marked out the thickness of the tenons on there already before I go and make this molding. And the first step is to chamfer that corner where the molding is going. And I just use a smooth plane to do that. It just takes the bulk of the wood away. And now I'll start in with the scraper. So I hold the block up against my rail stock and using both hands just slide it forward. I've got to tilt it over in the direction I'm going. So what I've been doing is I sort of get it started there at the far end and then kind of blend into that. And as I'm coming to the final cuts for that section of the molding, I'm bringing the blade up straighter to get a closer take on that profile. Get the bead in it a little rounder. Like that. So this chunk between these two rails, that's the tenons, so I don't even care if the molding really gets done there. Now it's back on the long rail. I've got the stock propped up on a piece of scrap underneath just to get it up off the bench. So this will clear the bench, and then pinched with that hold fast. So here, I'm satisfied with the whole shape of the molding up there and back here, but down near this shoulder I'm kind of bumped into the holdfast a bit. So I think what I'll do is move that up like that, and do this last bit. Like that. And that's pretty much it. Now, and I get it so you can see it. So that's the profile, and that's what I've cut with it. One way I like to look at it to evaluate its progress sometimes is to put a stick on there, and when you sort of tilt your head right, you can see a shadow on there and really get a good read on what the profile looks like. So that's all I do for scratching those moldings in oak.